Storyblocks Audio. Storyblocks Audio.
Hi, and welcome everybody. And to all my beautiful subscribers, thank you. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Hit the like button on your way out or way in. Either way, please hit the like button, whether it's a good like or not a good like. And let's get Helen's story out there. So today, or tonight I should say, I'll be talking about a case from Australia here, and the lady's name is Helen Barnett from Koumala in Queensland. This lady was 53 when she went missing, and she went missing at 4:15 p.m. on Valentine's Day Eve, 2022. Her friend, Mackay, is desperately looking for her. So let's get into this case. Missing woman Helen Barnett is out there somewhere, her best friend says. On her best days, Michelle Kane believes her best friend Helen Barnett will walk back into her life. On her worst days, she fears her mate will be found dead. Sadly, Miss Kane, the mother of 8 children, has been doing everything she can to alert Australians about the disappearance of the 53-year-old woman, Helen. Helen was last seen about 4:15 on Valentine's Day Eve, some 300 metres from her home, on Turner's Paddock Road, 11 kilometres outside Koumala. Police, the SES, the Rural Fire Service, the Army, and the RACQ rescue helicopter scoured a 5-kilometre radius, but dense scrub and rugged terrain hampered the 3-week search on the 80-plus hectare property. Police also combed local waterways, and drones were used in a 15-square-metre aerial surveillance to no avail, sadly. Helen had a major medical issue that prevented her from walking long distances, and Miss Kane says she was being cared for by another friend. Her phone remained at home, and she also did not take her sneakers and sunglasses. Of which she always wore when leaving the house. It's not strange at all, is it? Dressed in black and white shirt, shorts and thongs, Helen had on a shoulder and knee brace. The 168-centimetre tall woman's long brownish grey hair was tied back in a ponytail. About 8,000 people are reported missing in Queensland each year, and about 98% of them are found within 48 hours. That tells you something. There are just fewer than 400 people listed as long-term missing, meaning they have been gone for more than 3 months in the state. Helen is one of those people, and experts say the longer a person is missing, the higher the chance they may never be found or they will be located deceased. Helen's loved ones hope Helen's case will go against this trend. Let's pray that That does happen. Speaking with this publication from her home on the Sunshine Coast, Miss Kane says the past 5.5 months were heart-wrenching for herself and for Helen's 85-year-old mother. That's sad. Extremely sad. My fight is to bring my friend home. It's my priority, Miss Kane says. Her mum is elderly and the fear of not knowing where her daughter is too much. Helen and Miss Kane have been friends since meeting at school in their teens. Their 38-year friendship had never weakened, with the pair communicating at least once every 2 days. That's an amazing friendship, 38 years. And if anybody would know Helen, Michelle would, or Miss Kane, she would definitely know her after 38 years and what her normalities were. Helen and I were good, close schoolmates. And as we moved on into leaving school, we drifted apart physically, but we stayed in contact, Miss Kane says. I was with her at her wedding, and she has got to see me have all my children. Helen divorced some time ago. When her health was at its lowest, she spent 12 months living on the Sunshine Coast with Miss Kane, who helped her get back on her feet. As I said, truly amazing friendship. I cared for her and got her medication stabilized and her health stabilized, Miss Kane says. I really wanted her to stay here, but she was determined to return to Koumala, which she loves very much. Miss Kane said it was well out of character for Helen to take long walks unaided because her medical condition stifled her ability to go long distances. This is the SES looking for or doing their search. Since February, Miss Kane has run a Facebook page, Help Find Helen Barnett, to try and raise community awareness about her missing mate. She has liaisoned diligently with missing persons groups and police and has reached out to residents living between Rockhampton and far north Queensland. Miss Kane has even gone so far as to contact people interstate, including in the Northern Territory, on the chance Helen may have travelled to Darwin, or that someone passing through the Mackay region might have witnessed something. Every few days I try and post on social media or do other things to spread the message, Miss Kane says. I have had local police distribute leaflets for me to keep those who do not have access to social media updated. I'm hoping someone will be able to help find her and bring her home. I'll never give up searching for her. She's my best friend. Queensland Police were unable to comment. If you can help find Helen or have any information about her disappearance, please phone Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Now, for anybody that lives in Australia and you are in Queensland or near Koumala, or you travelled through Koumala, on Valentine's Day Eve, which would be the 13th of February, maybe you've seen her walking along the road there. If you have any information or this helps jog your memory, please call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. It's time Helen come home. for her mother and for a friend of 38 years. This here is an update. This was in the 17th of November 2022. A Mackay region woman who went missing on the eve of Valentine's Day is now suspected to have died. Helen Barnett, then 53, was last seen about 4:15 p.m. on February the 13th, about 300 metres from her home on Turner's Paddock Road outside of Koumala. Her best friend, Michelle Kane, had for months desperately hoped Helen was alive. I would too. We all would. It seemed strange that she walked out of that home with the medical issues she had and left her phone home. But I'll go on and read this and it will explain why. But upon learning Helen could be dead, Miss Kane said it strengthened her belief she had met with suspicious circumstances. It's hard grieving, thinking, where is she? Where can she be? She's got to be somewhere, Miss Kane said. And this is the hardest part for anybody whose loved one has been a victim of crime or has gone missing. The not knowing, never seeing them again, is what would eat you alive. If your loved one was unalived by somebody in the hands of somebody else, you could imagine how bad enough that is. But then to never see them or never know that, to always wonder if they just walked away or they just left, that would drive me insane, I believe. I don't think I could cope with that. I don't think a lot of us would cope with that. I think that's the hardest part about missing people, missing children, is the not knowing. We need to find answers. Whether somebody's picked her up, I don't know. Helen had been renting the home on 80 plus hectares surrounded by cattle and cane properties, with the nearest town of Koumala 11 kilometres away. This is a text Helen sent to her friend Michelle. At 9:15 a.m. on Sunday, February the 13th, Helen texted Miss Kane. She'd been up all night watching the Winter Olympics and was now going to get some sleep, which is what she says here. Morning. How's your morning been? I've been up all night watching Winter Olympics. It was awesome. Then a few other shows. I'm now going to get some sleep. Are you home? This would be from Michelle. Home now, darling. Kiss, kiss. 24 hours later, Miss Kane learned Helen had vanished. She said Helen suffered from a medical condition making long walks physically impossible. And Helen's phone, as well as her sneakers and sunglasses she always wore when leaving home, were left inside the house. Now, from what I know, she also suffered from a little more than problems with her leg. That's why she had a brace on. Emergency services, including police, the SES, the Army, the Royal Fire Service, and the RACQ, CQ rescue helicopter crew, would scour the 5-kilometre radius over 3 weeks through dense scrub and rugged terrain. Drones were used, as I explained before. Miss Kane, whose friendship with Helen spanned 38 years, said her disappearance was out of character, both having communicated 3 or 4 times a week. Why did she leave her phone and everything behind? I just didn't get that from the start, she said. Miss Kane had the grim task of retracing Helen's steps 4 weeks after their last text exchange. Wow. I went up there with my husband and we cleared her house out because at the end of the day, when she was going to come home, I knew she wouldn't go back there, meaning she would contact one of us, she said. It was sad looking around her home and finding her cat Smudge, and it was very confusing on how could this happen. She lived there for 8 years. And this, of course, is Helen Barnett, who sounds like a lovely lady. And like I said, they had an extraordinary friendship. Miss Kane said they searched the home for clues or any hint that could explain Helen's whereabouts. I couldn't make sense that she could not be found when I knew she wouldn't go into the paddocks. I knew she would stay to the road, and both sides of the roads were pretty clear and fenced, she said. Miss Kane took Smudge and some of Helen's belongings back to her home on the Sunshine Coast, hoping authorities will call for traces of Helen's DNA. She also hopes to get sniffer dogs to try once more to find Helen's body. For now, the rest of Helen's things are with her 85-year-old mother in New South Wales. She'd been hoping that she'd get to see her daughter again before her time, Miss Kane said. Wow. I hope they find Helen. I hope Helen's found and brought home for her mother and for her friend, but all her loved ones. I hope that for her mum especially. We're positive that one day Helen will be brought home. She deserves to be laid to rest. She needs to be home for her mum and for her friends and me. She's my sister from another mother. A Coroner's Court of Queensland spokesman said Central Coroner Magistrate O'Connell was investigating Helen's suspected death. Helen was last spotted wearing a black and white shirt, shorts and thongs, and had on a shoulder and knee brace. At 168 centimetres tall, Helen's long brownish grey hair was tied in a ponytail. Her disappearance came only 4 months after fellow Koumala woman Renee Latimore was reported missing on August 18th, 2021. Miss Latimore, a 31-year-old mother from the West Mackay, was found dead at Ilbilby, more than a week later on August the 29th. A 17-year-old was arrested and charged with her murder on November the 26th and remains in custody. Once again, if you were in the area or drove through the Koumala area on the 13th of February 2022 around 4:15 p.m. and you saw this lady walking along the road, please call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Let's bring Helen home for her mother's sake, for all her loved ones. It's time she come home. I covered this case sorry guys, for a friend. And I hope that this case gets out more and more. These cases need to be out. They deserve the coverage that all the other cases get, even the big cases. These cases deserve the coverage here in Australia, especially. So please like, share this out to get it out there, especially if you live in Australia. The more they talk about this and the more it gets out there, it just may jolt somebody's memory. Maybe somebody did see something. Maybe somebody did see her and didn't think anything of it. But please help in getting this story out there. Let's bring Helen home. Please. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, guys. Love you all and see you all soon. Bye. Please take care, everyone.